functioning. We used to drive with that our light is not so bright. We used to use the light to drive, supporting our light to see very clear, see the payment.
There is proper maintenance, but as it stands now, there is no proper maintenance. Observe it from this angle like this new Benin, this board of internal revenue at this lane. If you observe it for the past how many as a weeks, or let me just pronounce it as months, these street lights are not be working.
We can no longer see anywhere bright. Normally, some people don't have bright lights, so we are managing the light now. Even because of the street lights, they are no longer, all of them are not working. Last week they robbed one girl here. They robbed the girl because they collect her phone because it was dark.
The motorists appealed to the government to urgently repair the non-functional street light to ensure the visibility and safe vehicular and pedestrian movement at night, adding that damaged and fallen street lights should be replaced to ensure safety.
My advice to government is to set up a committee that can be going around all the street lights in Edo State. Anyone that is bad or that is maybe vehicle, sometimes vehicle can hit any of them, they say that so that they can replace it off the walls or not the wall. Guys, but it's supposed to do and street like the wall so that if at all anything will happen inside the street, so people will see the street. Even far, person will see something is happening there. Something like that. That's my own.
Supposed to the light to be working, we need the light because the street light is helping us here. And when at night we even drive without no light. So I beg the government so that they can come and put the light in order.
Meanwhile, a visit to the offices of the Commissioner of Water Resources and Energy, Honorable Washington Osifu, and the Commissioner for Information and Communication, Honorable Paul Ombamu, to get comment was unsuccessful as they were said to be in an important meeting with Sarogie Agwebo. Reporting for BeeTv News.
There was a bit of fracas within the premises of the National Assembly as a suspended senator representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, attempted to access the complex in defiance of a subsisting suspension from the Senate amid a heavy security presence as supporters of the senator almost clashed with the personnel. Harmony Agbafo has more.
Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, in defiance of a suspension, walked into the premises of the National Assembly. She walked alongside some activists, including Aisha Yesufu, after her vehicle was denied entry. The suspended lawmaker marched through the Mopo Gate in defiance of what she described as political persecution. A heavy security lockdown had earlier been mounted around the National Assembly complex, with several personnel from the police, DSS and civil defense positioned at various entrances. Despite her persistence, Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan was stopped at the inner gates, sparking a brief confrontation between her supporters and security operatives. While addressing journalists, the senator described the 10th National Assembly under President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, as the worst in Nigeria's history, accusing the chamber of operating in contempt of courts. She insists that her suspension was fraudulent, alleging that the committee reports used to remove her lacked proper signatures and due process, and also claims her removal was triggered by her petition on sexual harassment within the Senate.
That contravenes the Nigerian Constitution is illegal, and the National Assembly cannot be greater than the Constitution. They're now coming down again based on the appeal. Akpabio himself cannot be greater than the courts, cannot be greater than the Constitution.
While confirming plans to head to the appellant's court, she maintained that her right to represent Kogi Central remains valid and vowed never to apologize for speaking out. She accused the president of the Senate of personal vendetta, saying the suspension appeal was filed by Senator Akpabio himself, not the Senate.
It's pretty much the worst assembly Nigeria has ever had, and I hope we will not have to suffer this anymore because it tells a lot on the individual. And I've said this before and I'm saying it again. The Senate President Godswill Akpabio runs the Nigerian Senate as if it's the third-term governor of Akwa Ibom.
Despite being barred, the suspended Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan reaffirmed her commitment to her constituents and vowed to continue leading with integrity, even if she has to do so from outside the chamber. Harmony Agbafo reporting for BeeTv News.
Supporters of the African Democratic Congress gathered in their numbers to welcome former Governor Rotimi Amaechi back to his home state, marking what many are calling as major turning point ahead of the 2027 general election.
Amid heavy rains, supporters of African Democratic Congress turned out in numbers to welcome former Governor Rotimi Amiche back to Rivers State. After airport formalities, Amiche made his way to ADC Secretariat, but not before joining a symbolic walk with supporters from Waterline bus stop along Port Harcourt Express to Azikiwe Road, signaling his political homecoming. He was officially presented with a party symbol and later addressed supporters at both the airport and party secretariat, reaffirming his commitment to credible elections while pledging to lead the fight against electoral malpractice in the state.
If you're not tired of President Tinubu, I am tired of If you are not hungry, I am hungry. No man. If the rich men are spending 4 million a month for fuel, for electricity, only God knows how you are surviving. And the president said he doesn't care. The president said he's not here to make you happy. ADC is here to make you happy. Rivers State is notorious for writing results. When they write results, they claim they have won. I will not work with you if you will not match with those result merchants to announce results.
ADC shifting also weighed in on the party growing coalition and expressed confidence in its chance ahead of the 2027 general elections.
The presidential candidate will carry the load. For now, we are more concerned about laying a solid foundation for a new beginning, as I pointed out earlier. When we build that house, in course of its construction, in course of its erection, the outstanding leader will emerge, and we all will see it and rally around him or her.
The dynamics that played in 2023, the same dynamics will not play in 2027. Rivers people have become wiser. Nigerians have become wiser. In a democracy, Rivers is under military government. It's treated by people who say they are Democrats. And Rivers people are unhappy, and Rivers people will display that unhappiness when the appropriate time comes.
Founded in 2005, the African Democratic Congress positioned itself as a centric party championing democracy, transparency, and good governance. It was recently adopted by opposition leaders as united platform to challenge the ruling APC in 2027. Feho Kolawole reporting for BeeTv News.
The Federal High Court sitting in Accra, Anambra State capital, has dismissed a suit challenging the nomination of Nicholas Okwachukwu as a candidate of the All Progressive Congress for the November 8th governorship election. The petitioner Valentine Ozigbo approached the court to cancel the exercise on the grounds of alleged irregularity in the nomination process, saying it lacked substantial compliance with the Electoral Act. The court cited the Supreme Court decision in previous matters, emphasizing that membership of the political parties was a prerogative of the particular party, and hereby dismissed the petition for lacking a merit. Reacting to the verdict, counsel for APC, Shedrack Ayo, described the judgment as a clear interpretation of the law.
Of the clear provision of section 285(14)(a) and section 84(14) of the Electoral Act. Section 285(14)(a) stated that complaints must arise from issue of Constitutional Electoral Act and the party guideline. So the entire content of the complaint, none of them suited to this condition as been set by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 and the Electoral Act.
And to that extent that no court has jurisdictions to intervene. So we were actually surprised when we read the processes filed by the plaintiff, and then we discover that the only issue thrown up in the case borders on membership. And the court, in the judgment, the well-reserved judgment just delivered now, also still reiterated the position of the Supreme Court that it doesn't have jurisdictions, and accordingly declined jurisdictions to entertain the suit.
The Federal High Court in Lagos has struck out an alleged 12.3 billion naira fraud charge against the chairman of Honeywell Group, Oba Otundeko, as well as a former managing director of First Bank PLC, BC Onasaya, and 2 others. This follows an amicable settlement reached among the nominal complainant and the defendants upon the intervention of the Attorney General of the Federation. The EFCC had earlier filed the 13-count charge against Oba Otundeko, BC Onasaya, as well as a former board member of Honeywell, Soji Akintayo, and a firm Anchorage Leisure Limited, accusing them of obtaining 20.3 billion naira, 5.3 billion, 6.2 billion, 6.1 billion, and another 1.5 billion naira from First Bank under the pretense that the funds were obtained by some firms. But on Wednesday, lead counsel for Economic and Financial Crime Commission, Rotimi Oyedepo San, told Justice Chukwujeku Anake that the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi San, who connived the settlement talk, that decided to withdraw the charges after a thorough review of the various allegations and correspondence from the bank, that the depositors' fund, which is the subject of the charge, have been fully recovered and returned to its treasury. He added that a later dated July 21st, 2025, First Bank had formally communicated its decision to no longer pursue the allegations against the defendant, and that the AGF considered it appropriate on grounds of justice, public policy, and to prevent abuse of legal process to withdraw the charge subject to Section 108 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015 Council for the first defendant, Bode Olanipekun. San also confirmed to the court that the funds are fully paid back. Adeyinka Olumide Fushaki San, appearing for the second defendant on the spot, told the judge that they attended the first meeting with the AGF and they were told that the issue was strictly between the nominal complainant and the first defendant. There was no objection to the withdrawal of the charge, but by the other counsel. According, the court struck out the charge. The Federal Road Safety Corps, in continuous quest to address challenges in road traffic and safety management, has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau and the AIG Imokedo Foundation. This strategic partnership aims to improve rapid response and joint investigation into road traffic crashes. BeeTv News Favor Kulawale has more.
The time for this strategic session is driving change from within, reinforcing integrity, accountability, and performance in the Federal Road Safety Corps. It is aimed at reviewing the Corps' performance and to provide solutions to the various road safety challenges. The Corps Marshal Shehu Mohammed treated the importance of the session, citing some internal changes bordering on integrity, efficiency, and operational discipline as reasons for decreased productivity.
As we converge for this high-level strategy session, our consultation must be solution-driven, in line with our commitment to reposition the Corps on the path of accountability and professional excellence. We must deliberate in taking measures designed to key into the renewed agenda of Mr. President to improve the welfare of Nigeria through safer highways.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation stated that the session is timely as it resonates the key vision of the government, which is to build a cultural responsibility in the system. He urged participants to embrace this initiative, adding that it would help reduce accidents on the road.
It is essential to monitor and evaluate performance in any organization, because reviewing performance highlights the weakness and strengths of an organization. It is equally a window for identifying training and other needs for development, which are essential to human resource development.
We are safety investigators, non-punitive. We're here to just make safety recommendations to help the road safety do their job effectively and safeguard Nigerian lives. So this is just a step in the right direction for the Federal Road Safety and the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau in improving the quality of lives and travel for Nigerian travelers on the road here.
We are going to put more effort, both the two agencies, interagencies, to make it happen, to make our roads safe for the motoring public to be able to navigate and get to their destination safely.
With this initiative, the Corps aims to effectively empower its officers for holistic road traffic management in the country. Favor Kolawole reporting for BeeTv News.
The Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has launched the Produce for Lagos program with the 500 billion naira after guarantee funds to drive food security, inclusive prosperity and sustainable economic growth, both in Lagos and across Nigeria. BeeTv News' Esohe Osewenge has details.
Lagos, Nigeria's most populous state, is also the country's largest consumer food market, accounting for over 50% of food traded in the southwest. The Lagos food economy is valued at approximately 16.14 trillion naira, according to the state government and industry estimates. Despite this size, nearly 50% of food produced in the state is lost between harvest and markets due to poor storage, handling, and inefficient transportation system to produce these systemic challenges. The Produce for Lagos program would provide guaranteed take-off contracts, improve access to financing for food producers, and offer logistics support, all aimed at expanding agricultural outputs and reducing dependence on informal and inconsistent food supply channels.
It's not a subsidy, it's an investment vehicle that will catalyze the private capital. It will stabilize food prices, and it will help completely de-risk agricultural operation across the value chain. What we're doing here is we're creating a whole new agricultural ecosystem, on one that will rise from the demands of today and of tomorrow, to combining a policy that will well focus, to creating a financing model that would outlive us.
And the 500 billion naira off-taker guarantee fund, it serves as the anchor that will give off-takers the confidence to buy, farmers the assurance to plant, financiers the boldness to invest, and Nigerians the certainty of daily nourishment.
The show of regional collaboration, the governors of Niger, Taraba, Kogi, and Ondo states were present at the launch to demonstrate their commitment to working with Lagos in scaling food production and supply.
I see this as a mutual investment in people, productivity, and prosperity.
So we support this initiative with 25 billion naira.
With a major boost to the initiative, Tony Elumelu pledged 25 billion naira as a strategic contribution to accelerate the program's rollout. To tackle transportation bottlenecks, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu also unveiled a new logistic infrastructure, a fleet of 150 LNG and CNG-powered 40-foot cold and dry trucks delivered in partnership with private sector stakeholders. Esohe Osewenge reporting for BeeTv.
Residents in Benin City have appealed for a review of the recent hike in electricity tariff and meter, which according to them is financially telling on their pockets. BeeTv News Freeman Osawe reports the respondents are also calling for a swift access to prepaid meters, which they said is also economical to them.
Electricity distribution companies in Nigeria recently announced an increase in the price for various electricity meters models for consumers across the country, marking the second price hike in 4 months, according to the distribution companies. However, some respondents in Benin City appealed for review on the hike in electricity tariff and meter, describing the hike as uncalled for.
My opinion is just for the government to come up with new laws that will back the consumer, also that will back the government in a new position of a new electricity tariff for the consumers.
The electricity issue has been a problem, and they have not been given. We are not having good lights, So I believe that this new government is trying to bring in a way they can systemize it, and so that they can give us better service.
Others called for swift access to prepaid meters. They said purchasing meters easily will help many electricity users because they would be sure of the amount of electricity they are consuming.
They make prepaid meter for everybody so that there will be constant light, just like you are using your phone. The more you use your credit, the more you buy. So if they can make prepaid meter for the whole Nigerians, and there will be availability of electricity, that is fine by me.
I use the prepaid meter in my house. Before then, I was using the other type, the manual type, wherein they bring bills arbitrarily. So I had to apply for the prepaid, which of course I've had over the years. And ever since, although the tariff is high, but I think it's far better than the manual approach.
Nigerians are hoping that there will be a review in the current electricity hike. Freeman Osawe reporting for BeeTv News.
The Nigerian Port Authorities has confirmed the arrival of 1,350 vehicles at the Port and Terminal Multipurpose Limited (PTML) Tycoon Island Port between July 19th and July 21st, 2025. Of the total 1,000 are new vehicles, while 350 are used. Let's join BeeTv News Esohe Osewenge for details and more from Business World.
The arrivals coincide with a period of relative narrow stability as the exchange rate in the parallel market stood at 1,544 per US dollar on July 20, 2025. This trend is attributed to the Central Bank of Nigeria's injection of $4.1 billion into the foreign exchange market in the first half of the year. The move is aimed at stabilizing the naira and easing FS liquidity constraints. The naira opened the year at 1,535 to $1 and appreciated slightly to 1,530 to $1 by the end of June. However, data from the CBN shows the Nigerian's gross external reserves declined by $3.67 billion during the same period. Fitch Ratings has affirmed EcoBank Nigerian's long-term issuer default rating at CCCC despite lowering its viability rating to F from CCC. The rating agency stated that the bank retains adequate liquidity to meet its financial obligations, including a €150 million bond due in February 2026. The bank recently completed a tender offer to repurchase half of its €300 million bond, which included the removal of a covenant related to capital adequacy ratio compliance. This transaction reduced the risk of accelerated repayment of the outstanding bond. The Nigerian Shippers Council has declared the current cargo dwell time and vessel turnaround periods at Nigerian ports as unacceptable and is committed to aligning the country's maritime operations with regional performance standards. To address the inefficiency, the NSC has launched a 5-year strategic plan from 2025 to 2029 aimed at supporting the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy's agenda to enhance trade logistics, cargo management, and port infrastructure. As part of the reforms, the NSC mandated the development of a real-time integrated dashboard in collaboration with terminal operators and the Nigerian Customs Service to improve cargo clearance processes. And that is the size of a business news bulletin for tonight. I am Esohe Osewenge reporting for BeeTv News.
And now looking into the global scenes, where the White House has rejected claims that Trump was informed his name is mentioned in Justice Department files related to Jeffrey Epstein. Also, Australian women win right to sue Qatar Airways over invasive searches. BeeTv News correspondent Harmony Agbafo has more on this and more from the global scenes.
The White House denied reports that Trump was told his name appears in Jeffrey Epstein-related Justice Department files. Attorney General Pam Bondi reportedly informed him in May, contradicting Trump's public denial. While being named implies no wrongdoing, the issue has angered Trump supporters, demanding transparency. A judge blocked the release of Florida case files citing grand jury secrecy. House Republicans voted to subpoena more documents, though it awaits final approval. Ghislaine Maxwell may testify before Congress, but her credibility is questioned. The controversy has deepened political tensions and sparked accusations of a cover-up. 5 Australian women who were strip-searched at Doha Airport in 2020 after a newborn was found in a bin have won the right to sue Qatar Airways, overturning an earlier court ruling. The women allege they were subjected to unlawful physical contact and false imprisonment, causing serious psychological harm. An Australian judge had previously dismissed their case, ruling the airline couldn't be held responsible under international aviation law, and calling the idea staff could intervene implausible. However, the federal court found the case should proceed to trial against Qatar Airways and airport operator Matar, though it upheld the dismissal of claims against Qatar's aviation regulator. The women, who say they were given no explanation or consented to examinations, are now seeking justice and compensation. Togo is facing unrest after President Faure Gnassingbé changed the constitution to extend his rule by becoming a powerful prime minister, avoiding term limits. Protests led by young activists and cultural figures have erupted, with several deaths and arrests. The move, made without a public vote, has been widely seen as a way to preserve the Gnassingbé's family's decades-long grip on power. Despite growing anger at home, regional and international responses have been muted. And that is all from the global scenes. Harmony Agbafo reporting for BeeTv News.
Nigerian singer Habib Okikiola Badmus, popularly known as Portable, has intensified his ongoing feud with social media activist Very Dark Man by releasing an intimate video of the activist online. The confrontation began after Portable criticized Very Dark Man for his repeated attack on President Bola Tinubu, accusing him of exploiting the case of the late singer Mohbad for personal gain. Let's join BeeTv News God Gift Omone for details and more from Entertainment World.
Very Dark Man responded by releasing a diss track titled Ole, referencing past allegations of theft against Portable. He also resurfaced a 2020 video showing Portable being beaten by a mob over claims of stealing a mobile phone and a tricycle. In retaliation, Portable posted private footage of Very Dark Man on Instagram, escalating the feud and drawing widespread attention across social media platforms. The public exchange has led to a surge in reactions online, with many following the situation closely as both parties continue to exchange accusations and insults. In another development, reality TV star and media personality Tacha Akide has criticized her generation of Nigerian youth, describing them as unpatriotic and lacking courage. In a social media post, she expressed frustration over the increasing trend of young Nigerians emigrating from the country, commonly referred to as Japa, in search of better opportunities abroad. Tacha, who recently relocated to the United Kingdom, condemned the current generation for blaming previous leadership, yet failing to take actionable steps to effect change. She compared the political activism of past generations to what she perceives as apathy and escape by the youth today. Her statement has sparked a wave of debates online, with mixed reactions from followers. Nigerian rapper CDQ has disclosed that he left a banking job to pursue his passion for music. In a recent interview with Echo Room, the artist shared that he took the job in honor of his late father's wishes, but eventually realized his heart was not in the profession. While working at the bank, CDQ found himself writing lyrics during work hours and eventually made the decision to resign. He moved in with music producer Mastercraft, who supported his early efforts in music. According to CDQ, He did not initially inform his family of the career change, fearing their reaction. The decision proved successful as he rose to prominence in 2016, following the release of his hit single, Indomie, featuring Mastercraft and Olamide. Siddiqui stated that music brought him fulfillment, regardless of financial returns. Janice Turner, the mother of American singer Sean Kingston, has been sentenced to 5 years in a U.S. federal prison for her involvement in a $1 million fraud scheme. She was convicted in March 2025 alongside her son on multiple counts of wire fraud. The pair orchestrated a scheme between April 2023 and March 2024 involving fake wire transfers to acquire luxury items without payment. The fraudulent purchases included 2 luxury watches valued at $480,000 and $285,000 respectively, and a high-end vehicle priced at $159,702.78. None of the items were paid for. At sentencing, U.S. District Court Judge David S. Leibowitz described Turner as the primary coordinator of the operation, despite appeals from her legal team referencing her health and charitable activities. The court imposed the maximum sentence. Turner will be deported to Jamaica after serving her term. She had previously served time for a 2006 bank fraud conviction. Sean Kingston, legally known as Kishan Addison, is scheduled to be sentenced on August 28, 2025. And that is it from the entertainment world. Godgift Omone reporting for BeeTv News.
And now to the sport news. Aitana Bonmati scored the winning goal as Spain defeated Germany to book an Euro 2025 final against England. The match, which ended 1-0, saw Spain edged Germany at Lyon Stadium. BeeTv News sport correspondent Freeman Osawi has more on base and other sports stories.
In the Women's Euro 2025 semi-final, world champion Spain defeated Germany 1-0 thanks to Aitana Bonmati, who scored the game's sole goal late in extra time. At a tense match in Zurich was nearing its conclusion and heading for penalty. Bonmati scored in the 113th minute. She was able to squeeze the ball past dependable German goalkeeper and Katrin Berger off guard at her near post. It was not one of Bonmati's most influential performances, but she proved crucial. The Barcelona star stepped up when needed to help Spain remain on course for their first European Championship title. The Spanish team also expressed gratitude to goalkeeper Catacol at her crucial saves. Super Eagles head coach Eric Chell has announced his final 23-man squad for the upcoming African Nations Cup CHAN 2024, set to be held from August 2nd to 30th in Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. The team features a mix of experienced local stars and promising talent, with notable selection and strategic and tactical choices. Team captain and defensive stalwart Junior Harrison Nduka leads the squad alongside forward Godwin Obaje. These players were chosen for their leadership qualities and impressive performance at the domestic level. Other veteran members include goalkeeper Ozumena Ani, defender Sodiq Ishmaela and Stephen Mayo, midfield maestros Adi Aruna and Alex Oyoma, as well as forwards Anas Yusuf, Sikiru Alimi and Ijoma Anthony. Super Eagles legend Brown Ideye has secured a new position just weeks after departing Kano Nwankwo's Enyimba. Lower division club Atlantic Business have announced a massive catch after revealing new staff member at the club. Former Super Eagles striker Brown Ideye also switches from the pitch to the boardroom. In a post on their social media account, the business side announced that they are proud to have the AFCON 2013 winner as their director of players, pathway and partnership. And that's it on Sport News. Freeman Osawa reporting for BeeTv News.
And that is the Size 1 News package for tonight. Many thanks for joining us on BeeTv Media News. I am Evelyn Izibili. Thank you and have a good night.